Hello, everyone. I'm back. This is Erin with ECKOArt, Transcendent Lux Lucius, and Echo Certified Sound Healing. And I am continuing series, if you will, on explaining the psychic and paranormal photography that I have, so that it helps to kind of clarify for people what I'm referring to if they're not familiar with it, so that they can understand what I'm working with, and it will give them also a better foundation for understanding the work that I do. This particular image isn't necessarily paranormal, but it fits into the realm of the things that I discuss. So I'm going to use this in this presentation as well so that you can understand what you're looking at. This image was taken in the United States. And when I went to edit this image so that I could do something with it, I got guidance. I heard the word antediluvian. So this is an antediluvian era temple, in my opinion, in my rather psychically informed opinion, in the United States that no one's talking about. So I will explain it, and then I'm going to show you a zoomed in image of this section with a rough sketch over it, and then I'll show you an image of this with a sketch over it. So let me start with this one here. There's a figure here that looks like a more voluptuous version of something that you would see in ancient Egypt. More voluptuous and maybe with more draping attire. I see what looks to me like it could be a headdress up here as well. Maybe something like you would see in Egypt, like with the serpent or the vulture over the third eye coming out the forehead. Whether that's what that is or not, I can't tell you for sure, but this definitely is, it's a statue. And equidistant from the main part is this, another one that's very similar. And it seems to me like it's turned a little bit more to the side than the one on the right, but it's the same thing. And you'll be able to see that better in the zoomed in version. And then over here, what we have is a seated figure. It seems to be missing all or part of the head, but you can see the shoulder and the arm goes down to the hands, the legs here. And then over here, it looks to me like there was a second one of those with the top missing, because this here looks pretty well identical to what you see over here. And then here we have what looks like a mummy, like with its arms crossed, like an Egyptian mummy style figure that looks like another statue. It also would be missing the head. I'll show you this one first. Okay, so you can clearly see the face area, what looks like it could be a draped headdress of some sort. What looks like it could be more like a gown or dress or something that's more fabric. It's more fabric than what you would see in a lot of Egyptian statues, because probably the climate was different. I don't know. All I'm saying is this looks to me to be a more voluptuous version of something that you would have seen in Egypt. So I'm going to say it's during the same period when people think of Atlantis. Is it Atlantean? Is it Lemurian? I would say it's going to be an extension of Atlantis, because I believe Atlantis was largely worldwide. And so here is the others. Here are the others. That's the one that's equidistant from the main part of what I'm saying is, I don't know if it's a temple or a worship site or something, or, there are people that would say, would say that they got frozen in time because the earth changed. Anyway, I'm going to go with statue for now. So, that doesn't mean I'm arguing about that. I'm just saying I'm going with statues. So, this looks to me like the face here, like it has some sort of a headdress on, like this would be the shoulder, something down through here, maybe chest, here. Not really sure, but that looks to me like another version of the one that's on the right side. And here you can very, very clearly see what this is. This is a shoulder, an arm, hands. You get 2 hands. There's 2 hands there on the lap. Legs. I mean, that's legs. And it looks to me like it had a headdress on with something that flowed, again, down over here, the same way what you're seeing here and what was on the other one. They had something on their heads that was draping over them, fabric-wise. And again, the head seems to be missing. Over here is what I'm putting forth as a second one of these. You can see what looks like it could be legs. It looks like it could have been a lap here, and then boom, all of this seems to be missing. It's not a far stretch to imagine that that's what that is. That's what I feel that that is. And here, potentially another statue that has like a mummy with its arms crossed kind of shape. Is there something like that on the other side? I don't know. We can't see behind this guy. And again, the head would be missing. So that's pre-flood era in the United States. Just so that you can have another look at it zoomed out. I would say you can't really argue that those are accidents without going and looking at it. You know, you can't really argue that it's just a synchronicity, but there is an example of a giant wall somewhere. I think it's in Michigan, but I'm not really certain, where it's very obvious that that wall was not man-made, and there are people that are actually trying to say that it was a natural formation. It's clearly not. So I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to put forth information, and people can decide for themselves what they think. My opinion is that it is made by beings and not natural forces. What we have the top image, which is the first one, and then we have the second one. So that's 2 of the same thing again. And I was gardening at a friend's house and took a break because I felt like taking pictures. I was kind of being guided to, but not super heavily like I have been at other times. It was very relaxed kind of an environment. And here, I did not see her when this happened. There was a lot going on in the ether that day, so no, I did not see her. And you can clearly see there's a hand and an arm. Oops, a hand and an arm goes up to the shoulder, and then the face peeks out. And then I'm going to say the hair, but I also believe that this being is both serpentine and feminine, connected to nature. So the hair, when I first saw it, I thought it was a snake in the tree, and there's not tree snakes there. This is not an area where there are tree snakes. There's just not. So when I zoomed in on it, I began to realize that it was not a snake, but that was an arm, and there was an eye on the side of a face, and then what looked like maybe hair continuing up this way. And so I have put a 3D character on this side to show you what it is that I'm seeing very clearly in that image. And again, note the position of the hands, because that's going to make a difference in the next picture. I'm calling her Lilith because of the notion of Lilith and the serpent in the tree. I don't believe that Lilith is what a lot of people say Lilith is, but I'm not going to go down that road right this minute. I'm just simply saying this is a natural force, an energetic manifestation that I believe is connected to the energy of Lilith, not that it's Lilith all in and of herself. Okay, so the next one, look at how the hand is. The fingers are closer, the thumb is closer to the fingers. So the thumb being closer to the fingers clearly shows that this is a being that's moving. And so it's in slightly different position relative to the first image. And the face is a little bit more visible in this one. And there would be the eye. And then again, this is not the tree. It's along the edge of the tree. You can see I played with it in different programs, and you can clearly see the differentiation between the edge of the tree and this manifestation that's here. And so she's manifesting out of the tree. Is she a dryad? Perhaps she's a mixture of a dryad and Lilith energy. You know, people will get different things out of them depending on what they're meant to, but that's what I got out of it. And I don't think you can say that that's not an arm and a hand and a face. So there's that. I don't think you can argue that that's not a hand and an arm and a face. And so if you want to compare it, once again, to the previous image, and then look at how the hand is. Look at the position of the arm. It's slightly different. The face is in a slightly different place. So I call her Lilith. Over here, this little blue guy came with a light orb. And I did the best that I could with the 3D character that I overlaid on this other side. The face looks way more wicked than this one. This one looks a little bit mischievous, trickster, kind of fun trickster. This one is a little more wicked looking, and that's just the limitations of the software that I was working with. But again, the original image, this is like way easier to see in my opinion, so I may dig them out at some point. I'm not going to do it right now. I don't have time to. And that's just that. So this is like a blue mist, and you can see clearly the blue mist in the original. And what I did was use filters to try to bring certain parts of that out. And I think it's just that I haven't been able to go back through all of my files. I haven't had the time to go back through thousands, literally thousands of files that got scattered during a massive hacking, one of 2 or 3. So it is what it is, but you can still see that he's there, and you can clearly see the light orb, which I didn't do anything to in that image. I didn't put anything in here. All I did was run it through filters that kind of changed the detail and the lighting. It didn't really change the lighting much, though. And so I put a little rainbow orb over top of this just to define it a little bit, and put him there so you could see it. Okay, so I'm going to take a little break here again and come back in another segment.